You're watching Cyclismus Road. Blech. Yeah. You're watching Cyclismus Road Rail.
Bradley Wiggins has retired from Grand Tours. We think so, anyway. With Big Wig increasingly on vacation, Sky insiders have little to say about his situation as they focus on a new anti-smoking program within the team. In shocking news, new UCI president Brian Cookson has been shocked to learn that Pat McQuaid is naughty. Having read a secret shocking dossier on PMQ compiled by former USA cycling head Mike Plant, Cookson said he had no idea what his fellow management committee member had been doing to the sport for so many years, as he was busy making it all better. Strava disciples are rejoicing at Ted King's inclusion in the Cannondale squad for the Tour de France. King I Am has been the go-to source for discovering how slow you are on pro race routes using the popular online GPS resource. Now the entire tour route will be available for data analysts to pore over and discuss online while the rest of us are out riding bikes. In other PMQ news, the Irish have dealt a blow to Big Pat's chance of fixing cycling by telling him they'd prefer someone else to fix cycling. PMQ got a kick in the nuts at an extra and ordinary general meeting, despite 74 members emerging from a cocoon and thinking he'd done a grand job. Thankfully, 91 members had skinned up before the meeting and decided that the sky was not the limit when it comes to running cycling. An investigation into the alleged doping at Rabobank has failed to find any credible suggestion that the doping was merely alleged. Spokesperson Hash Vandentag stated, "These guys took more juice than at a 6-year-old's birthday party." The study also brought to light the Simex machine really does exist, and the team were grateful to Lance Armstrong for buying it for them via PMQ and his missing invoice. This really is alleged, not proven. Oh no, it's all shocking. In more shock-related news, Jan Ullrich has admitted to being a cyclist in the 90s. The shy German stated, "Yes, I too raced a bicycle, just like all the other dopers. Sometimes I rode the bicycle up hills, and on many occasions it was during races. I felt that I needed the bicycle to even out the playing field. Everyone else on EPO and blood bags raced bikes. I felt like I had no choice." Fellow bicycler Lance Armstrong welcomed Ulrich's confession. "It's great that he's admitting having to ride a bike to compete with me. I knew at the time he wasn't a runner, but felt he should be allowed to come to terms with this and confess in his own time. I remember looking at him funny, like, 'Jan, how can you not be a cyclist? We're on the same journey together.' I think my bike was more highly developed though."
Okay, so we're here at our secret location, which is Matthew's Cafe and Deli in Ruddington, Nottinghamshire, and we're going to discuss with Dan Ellmore here, who is a bronze medalist at national championships, no less, in something relating to cycling. We're going to discuss biscuits in relation to the Tour. So, Dan, what is your opinion of the Garibaldi as the Tour rider?
That's got to be Chris Froome, absolutely. You know, it's kind of not the best looking, not the smoothest style, but you're not hungry at the end, so, you know, it delivers.
Would you see Team Sky as a big kind of party selection box of biscuits?
Yeah, absolutely. You take the lid off and they're all there going, me, 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 me. And they're not actually talking to each other and they're kind of fighting amongst each other. It's just the perfect analogy for that team.
I don't know, what kind of biscuit do you feel Contador is?
I don't know, you know, maybe more of a pepperoni stick, you know, like a you know, beef, clearly, obviously, beef, absolutely.
I get a kind of a Jammy Dodger feel about Sagan, cheeky little biscuity chap, but performs quite well.
Yeah, the results speak for himself again, but you know, sometimes just taking a few too many liberties with the cheekiness.
Who would be your choice as the Tim Tam of the Tour this year?
You've got me on that one. You give me your choice on that.
I'm thinking, I was going to say Matty Goss, but I think I'm supposed to say Matthew Hardy Goss.
Really? Okay.
Nibbly would be my custard cream. You know, you could just sit and nibble away at him. Who do you think is an Oreo?
Tyler Finney's a good pick there. Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And, if the lights go out, there's always some witty remark coming back, so perfect for Oreos.
And obviously, Dan Martin is just a big soda bread.
Yeah, totally. That or a rich tea. Kind of pale, kind of frail looking, but effective.
Would you dunk Dan Martin in a mug of tea?
Yeah, you see, you're going to have to be careful dunking Dan. Because, if you dunk him right, he'll be amazing. But if you overdunk him, it's all going to be a soggy mess.
So you think 3 weeks is too long of a dunk?
Totally, yeah. Now, you see, when you're talking dunking, you've got to consider a hobnob and you've got to consider Cavendish for that.
Yeah.
Because he'll get up for a sprint every day of the week. So he can just take repeated dunking. But really, when it all goes wrong and he's completely smashed to bits and left in the bottom of your mug, he's going to drink your tea for you.
Well, cheers for that, Dan. And just finally, I'd like you not to make a prediction about the Tour. Could you not make a prediction?
Absolutely, yeah, totally. I'd be more than happy not to make a prediction.
Okay. Well, that's brilliant. And personally, I agree with your non-prediction. Excellent. Cheers for that.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, Star Tours, a new hope, newer than the old hope. It's time of great change. Unrest in the Union management has spread. Old enemies have fallen, and a renewed hope for peace and justice has swept the remnants of the galactic peloton. The Rebel Alliance grows stronger, determined to bring an end to the deadlock by overthrowing the crumbling old order and restoring balance to the galaxy once and for all. Meanwhile, shadowy figures gather, not yet prepared to relinquish their desperate grip on power, and willing to use the seductive pull of the dark side of the Force to destroy the rebels who stand in their way. Seems quite good.
This episode of Road Reel, we are sitting in the garden of Mike Cuming, who has just come back from winning the Tour de Korea. Not the Tour of Korea, it's the Tour de Korea. Mike, great result for you. Is that the best 1 week stage race in Korea that you've won in your career?
I'd say so. I'd say it's pretty much the high point in my career. So yeah, it's definitely been a good last week.
Yeah. And how did the racing compare to Europe?
At times it's similar. Like the race there was a few strong teams there, so they could keep it under control if they wanted to. But the first few days was really hectic, like a lot of attacking and stuff like that. So you had to keep on your toes.
Yeah. And the standard of racing from the Asian teams, was that pretty high?
Yeah, I'd say so. Like there's a lot of strong little Asian climbers out there that really like give you a kicking up the climb. So there's quite a bit of strength and depth over there. So yeah, it's pretty high.
Had you raced in Europe or in Asia before?
I did the Tour of Korea last year, and that was I really enjoyed it last year, even though I didn't do that well and I found it pretty tough. But it's nice to go back there and get stuck in again.
Okay. And what was the kind of critical moment of the race this year where you kind of thought, okay, now I could have a chance of the overall?
I was fairly consistent in the race. Like first few stages, I was trying to get up there, but I think it was a sixth stage, which was the hilliest, and it was raining all day. So got in a sneaky little move there and put pressure on the yellow jersey. And Tom Southern come up in the car behind and said, "Yeah, like you're in yellow, ride hard, put your head down." So it was pretty easy from then on. All you had to do was just ride as hard as you could and see where you ended up. So.
And were any of the team particularly lazy?
I'd say Will Stevenson was the laziest because he didn't even show up to the race. Okay. But fair play, he had to do his exams, so he didn't get on the flight. But I'm really joking. Like he was, no one was lazy on the team at all. It's good.
Obviously, Rapha, Condor, JLT, or your team. Can we talk about one of the bigger, most important teams? And in connection with your own manager, John Herity, do you think Brendan Rodgers should sign him for Liverpool?
I reckon so, yeah, for sure. definitely.
And what do you think of Mascherano and Alonso being sold? Was that ridiculous or what?
That was probably the worst two people that you could have sold, possibly. Yeah. Sure.
Okay. And come back to John Herity. Is he as good a cook as everybody seems to suggest he is?
Well, I reckon so. Yeah, definitely. He's got a few little tips up his sleeve, and it's nice to go away and stay with him and make him cook for you. It's good treats.
And his taste in music, is that okay?
Yeah, I'd say so. Like he's got a varied taste. He's into a lot of different music. Like he loves his country and folk sort of stuff, but he'll listen to anything.
Within the rest of the team, who would you say is the worst singer?
No one really sings apart from Tim Kennel. Like he's not in the team anymore, but he's a pretty good singer actually. No one else really sings apart from him. So.
Maybe that's why he's not on the team anymore.
Maybe, yeah. Maybe just took it a bit too far with the singing.
Within the racing generally, and particularly the Tour de Korea, most cycling fans they might ride a bike a little bit, they might suffer a bit on a hill. Can you give normal riders an idea of sometimes just the type of suffering you have to put up with in a big race?
Like we did the team time trial, and if you've ever done one of those before, you know that involves a lot of suffering. And there's a team time trial in the race, and I think I was on the river for most of that. Most of that with the lads getting my head kicked in by the other guys. So yeah, it was a lot of suffering takes place.
And looking on further in your career, where do you want to end up?
Everyone says, oh yeah, I'd like to ride the Tour de France and do this and do that, but I mean, if I just keep chipping away at it and keep getting the results, maybe I'll be able to step up in the sport in the coming years and that. And if I'm able to do that, that's great. But if I stay where I am, that's also great. Just enjoy riding my bike. It's good. Cool.
You're watching Cyclismus, and we're giving away free speed.
That sounds really dodgy, doesn't it? Yeah.
I'm Mike Cuming, and this is my tip for free speed. Like personally, I'd always try and keep your clothing as tight as possible. Like try not to have it flailing around in the wind and really baggy. Try and keep it nice and tight and stay nice and aero. It can save you a few extra watts and just look a bit better than having your jersey flailing around everywhere. So yeah, that's it. Cheers.
Feels out of control, feels out of control, out of control, feels out of control, out of control. You are my heart. You stole my controller, ODing on your love, use a player's game over. I'm gripping on the wheel, what you do is so real. You rock my heart, girl, till I'm right. You rock my heart, bet you know it. You rock my heart, so baby control me. You rock my heart, bet you know it. You rock my heart, feels out of control, feels out of control.
This here song is for anyone whose mother is serving a prison sentence.
My baby left me the other day. Woke up this morning, my baby left me. She said, you're as good at predicting Grand Tour winners as you are on the guitar. Thank you very much.